Hello everyone, in this section, we will deepen our understanding of the theoretical knowledge in the previous section through a case. First of all, let's take a look at the actual demonstration effect, which is that we have made a small game of guessing numbers. First, we input a number, for example, we input 50, and then click a button to guess the number. Then he will tell us that you guess it is small, and then we increase it to 75. Then he says you guess it is small, so we continue to increase it, and we change it to 90. He says you guess it is small, then we continue to increase it to 95, and he says you guess it when it's small, we continue to increase it and change it to a 100. When you guess it's big, here we change it to a 97, which is small. 98. It's small. 99. Oh, you guessed right. After you guessed right, a refreshed symbol came out here. Then we can click again, and then we can guess again. Let's click 50 again. Guess the number is small. 75, 90 less. Small, 99, big. 95. Big. 92. Small, 93, small, that can only be 94. Okay, 94 we guessed it right. Let's click refresh again. This is an effect we demonstrated. Let's make such an effect in the application. First of all, we should create a new application, choose our default environment, change the name to a guessing number, and then click create, and then first of all, we will complete a basic layout, which is an input box, then a button, then the display of the latter result, and then a refresh icon. Then we add a page under the front end, and then we add an income box under the page, and then a button, and then a text, and then there is a refresh symbol. We use an icon to replace it. Then we select the icon as the refresh style, and a left-aligned icon is not very good look. We select the page, we change its horizontal alignment to the center, and then it looks too crowded here. We can also add a little bit of its external and upper screenwriter for each widget, and we give it a 15 external and upper screenwriter, so the whole UI can be basically used. Then please enter the content of 100 here. We will also change the prompt here. Please enter the content of version 11, and then guess the number in the text of the button here. Then, by default, a result is displayed here. We will enter the result, and then the refresh button here. It is hidden at the beginning. We will hide it after we finish here. Then first of all, we think the first point, that is, to guess the number, it must generate a random number between 1 and 100. What widget do we use to execute this random number? This is what we will learn in a moment. Widget tells you first, through our numerical variable, and then this is the name of our reform. It is called our random number. Let's think about when we want such a random number to perform an action of generating random number. Is it when we just enter such a page, we are going to generate such a random number, so in fact, we will understand it according to the 4 elements just now and help you split it. When this page is displayed, let a numerical variable such as random number generate a random number, so what is the punishment object? That's our page, right? When this page is displayed, who will let our random number perform what operation? We will generate an operation of random integer, and then the minimum value is 1, and the maximum value is 100. In this way, we will generate a random number between 1 and 100. Then, since this is a numerical variable, we can select a text type of our input box as an integer, and where is the next event? It's right above our button. When this button is clicked, we can see a different result. So what is the trigger object? It's our button, isn't it? So we select such a button widget in the object book to add an event, and what is its trigger event? When it is clicked, it will assign a value to such a series of values. For example, when it is clicked, for such a text, we first assign a value to you to guess big. Let's see the effect. Then, when I click this button, it will appear directly. You guess big, but people guess big or small. Well, it can't be copied directly, can it? We need to make a comparison between one of its inputs and the random number we generated, so that we can come to the conclusion that he guesses big or small. So we need to add a condition here. The condition is which two values are compared. What is the first value? It's our random number, right? So we have already said that we select such an arrow symbol in front of the condition here. All our arrow symbols guide us to select it, and then select the property of a certain widget in the number of objects. Here, we select the value of the random number. Then if it is equal to the content in our input box, you can see the content in the input box. What happens if they are equal? We copy such a value, and then select such a condition to paste. OK, then we can delete it at the first time. So let's read the logic we wrote, that is, when it is clicked, if a value of the random number is equal to the content in our input box, you guessed right. If the random input value is greater than the content we entered, he will say that your guess is small, and then the random input is only less than the content we entered, he will say when the food is big. Are we ready for such a series of logic? Let's have a look. Here, we first enter a 50, and then click to guess the number. Then he said that you guess it is small, and the same is changed to a 75. Then click it is still small. Let's enter a 90 to be big, and then enter an 85 to be big, and we have an 80 to be big. Here, 77 is right. You see, it's right. But there's still a little detail here. I'm sorry, we can go to optimize it, such as the first point. We have not yet done the event of the return button. Second, the return button should not be displayed until we guess correctly, right? So we add it to the logic of this part. First of all, click such a refresh button, and then click such a spectacle symbol to hide it. The visible property here is turned off by us. Secondly, only when he has guessed it right, can we make such a button display, so I guess it right below, and add an event below. What does he want to do? That is, our refresh button will be displayed. Then we will perform a series of events for the refresh button. Let's think about what needs to be done when the refresh button is clicked. We can feel from memory that when I click the refresh button, should the content of such an input box be emptied again, and then here? You guessed right, does it want to become the result again, so we need to copy the text again, and then should a button of his own hide it? What's more important? Should our random number be regenerated? So we add a series of events to our refresh button. When it is clicked, what is the first thing to do? What should we do next to clear the contents of our input box? It also asks us to assign a value to it from one of our results. What should we copy? Copy as a result and let him display 1 or 2 words of a result. Then what will he do next? He also wants us to hide ourselves. You can occasionally tell us that if the trigger object is your own, you can select it from the drop-down menu. There is a content called the current object. In this way, it will be selected as your own by default. However, this condition is rarely used. Basically, we will use the current object only in the case of reuse. What kind of practice? We should try our best to click on such an event to carry out an implementation. Then what else should we do besides make such a button hidden? Is it necessary to regenerate our random numbers, so we are selecting random numbers, and then generating random integers, and then 100, so that our refresh time is ready? Let's preview the effect. Then enter a content, such as a 50 guess, a 25 guess, a 15 guess, a 20 guess, or a 25 guess. A 23, big 22, you guessed right, let's click, you see, you can guess again, so that we can do a complete number guessing game. Let's finish our own parameters according to what we have learned. Let's play the game. The above is all the content of this section. Thank you for watching.